The growing population of unemployed youth in Africa has become a threat both to security and to the current leadership in a number of African countries. And instead of looking at youth as an opportunity or as a strength that can be used to build the African countries, the youth are being looked at as a threat. But the problem is that every time leaders fail to address the problems of the people, then the problems will begin to lead the emotions of the people. And the moment the problems begin to lead, then leaders become the problem. So when leaders become the problem, the youth will always feel that changing leadership is the most appropriate solution. The challenges of the youth, for example, youth unemployment, have not been addressed appropriately. And I really don't seem to understand what exactly is fooling the African leaders, what exactly is fooling the community leaders, that the only solution to solving youth unemployment is simply to open the gates for the youth to go and be enslaved into Riyadh, in the Middle East, in the United Arab Emirates, and other countries, in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. That is not the most appropriate solution. I know there are no updated statistics on the number of young men and women who are taken out of Africa by them. No African country has such clear statistics because they want to keep this information classified. But by observation, when you are simply to make a random survey and you just take a walk around the Ministry of Internal Affairs, by 5 a.m., the young people are lining up struggling to acquire the Ugandan passport, struggling to acquire the Kenyan passport, so as they may go out. And from the looks, these are visibly young people, visibly senior 4 and senior 6 dropouts, who are just going to search for survival. But at the end of the day, they are enslaved. And this is not of any benefit to Africa. Exporting labor cannot lead to development in any way. But then, what African leaders have done, instead of addressing the problems of the African young people, they have simply created ways to necessitate the going. So they have put up these labor companies appearing to be helping and solving the problem. Putting up labor companies and licensing them and making it easier for these young people to go is not a solution to unemployment. And it's not going to lead to development in Africa. The whole thing has to be getting back to the roots, and we begin to address the problems of Africa. And this is the reason we must keep working hard towards decolonizing our minds. Because at the end of the day, when these young men and women are sold in Riyadh and other countries, in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, obviously those who are into the business, they are making money. But it's costing Africa, it's costing African young people. And this is the misery, that when colonialists came in, they encouraged us to grow crops such as cotton, sugarcane, tea, among the others, that they so much named as cash crops. But then, after years of exporting these so-called cash crops, Africa feels that has not been sufficient and we must go ahead to export labor. Look, here we are looking at the labor-intensive products versus the capital-intensive products. By labor-intensive products, we mean products that will require a lot of labor. For example, if you have to plant sugarcane and to sell it, you must prepare the land, plant it, and wait for nearly 18 months for you to harvest the sugarcane. Transport to the factory, sell, and be given money, nearly after 2 years. So you have put in a lot of labor and a lot of time. And if you're in Uganda and you simply have to plant matoke, you will wait for nearly a year of tilling the land, planting, until you sell off your bunch at nearly 3,000. Now, if you are selling off a bunch of matoke at 3,000, if obviously you will go and take a beer, you will simply take one bottle of beer after waiting for 1 whole year. If you simply have to buy a bar of soap in Uganda, where it's currently costing close to 8,000 Uganda shillings, a bar of soap that has been manufactured in less than an hour, and you have to wait for a full year to sell 3 bunches of matoke to buy a bar of soap. This is what we mean by labor-intensive products versus the capital-intensive products. So, the foreigners have been given access to land in the name of investors, and they are continuing to produce the capital-intensive products, and they are exchanging for the labor-intensive products. So you must work for a whole year to purchase a product that is made within minutes, that is made within hours. And this is the reason Africa will take long to develop. For example, in Uganda, where we are having nearly 80% depending on agriculture, it means nearly 80% of the population will spend much of their lifetime in the garden. They are spending much of their lifetime in the garden, but they are not earning because they are waiting at the end of the year. They are waiting at the end of the year to harvest something that they can sell and pay for the capital-intensive product. Now, as though that wasn't enough to African countries, to African leaders, they simply opened the gates for young people to go out of Africa. So we are moving from selling off the labor-intensive products, we are now selling off labor. Exporting labor, and the reason we need surely to pray for Africa. Because either our leaders are having selfish interests, or else they have simply failed to diagnose the true problems of the African countries. We need to keep working towards decolonizing our minds and liberating ourselves from that inborn egocentricity. And it's what Bishop Daniel Comboni pointed out when he said that either Negroes or death, either black or death, either Africa or death. We either fight for our solutions, for our liberation as Africans, or we die. We need to see how we address the challenges of Africa from the roots. When the African leaders, when leaders within the African countries continue licensing these companies, that Uganda nearly has over 200, Kenya is having over 700 labor companies. Actually, in the actual sense, African countries are creating more labor companies than the way they can create the jobs. That is so unfortunate. Because the youth, that energy, the innovation should be used as a resource to build Africa. When the energy is sold out, when the innovation is sold out, then we leave the aging population that is less productive. We need to retain the youth in Africa. Let the youth in Africa use the air energy in Africa. Let the youth in Africa use their innovation in Africa. Let the youth in Africa use their creativity in Africa. And let the governments create an enabling environment. Make the means of production available for the youth. Make the instruments available for the youth. Give the necessary support to the youth to boost their innovation, to boost their enterprises, to build, to boost their creativity, to boost their talents. And that's the only way to build Africa. It's the only way to address the challenges of youth unemployment in Africa. It's the only way to have the economic independence and economic development of Africa.